What up, y'all? We back. It's the last part 3. The time my birth mother set me up to have me kidnapped because I didn't want to work out and lift weights. We just gonna. All right. Boom. Let's get to it. So the police officer, she just was rude, like I said, disrespectful. She walked up and she was just like, So from what I hear, so what's the living situation going on right now? Because from what I hear, you're trespassing at the house and I should arrest you right now. My dad was like, "What? What do you mean I'm trespassing?" And she was like, "Well, she told us that you guys are separated. You're not living at the house. You guys have an agreement that you're not supposed to be at the house, and it's her house and you're not supposed to be living there." When I tell you my dad and I were like, she said, "What? Nah, she couldn't. Bruh, what?" So we were just sitting there, we were like, "No." Like, my dad was like, "No, we're not separated. Like, we live together. Like, I live there. My clothes, my stuff is in the house. What is she talking about?" And she was like, "Well, tell me what happened. You don't need to be all like that. You need to tell me the story. Tell me what happened." And he was like, "I was on the phone with my daughter the whole entire way. And she tried to kidnap my child. Her brother tried to kidnap and she was like, "Well, from what it sounds like to me," he goes, "No, I'm telling you the story and you keep interrupting me while I'm telling you the story because whatever she told you was bullshit." And she starts looking at me and she's like, "So what happened?" And I was like, "Well, she called me downstairs because she was mad because I didn't want to go work out." And she's like, "Well, I would have had an attitude too because you don't want to do what I want you to do." And I was like, "Lady, calm down. You didn't eat your Wheaties this morning." And she was like, "Well, did she hit you?" And I was like, "Yeah, she tried to hit me and I caught her arms and I pushed her off of me." And she was like, and then I was like, and then she tried to swing on me again. She had already pushed me out of the chair. She tried to backhand me. And she was like, "Well, I would have been pissed off too, because if I'm trying to hit and discipline my child and they block me from hitting them, I'm going to get pissed off too. I'm going to get an attitude too." Ma'am, it sounds like you need a therapist or 5 and a chill pill. Like, because you really need to calm down because that's abuse. Anyway, so my dad is just looking at her. My dad's like still crying. Like, he's pacing back and forth. He's crying. He's angry. And so, then I told her a lot of that is still really blurry, how fast that all went. And so, like, I remember telling them about my uncle. And so then the concern became the fact that my uncle worked at the school that I went to high school at. And so they asked us if we wanted to press charges. And I wish we would have said yes. I wish we would have said yes and both of them would have caught charges. I really do. But unfortunately, because I was a minor, I didn't really have much choice in the say. I had to go with what my dad wanted to do. And so my dad didn't want to push charges, but he did, want to make a police statement, wanted us to have everything on record so that, he could use that in the divorce, because at that point, obviously, they're going to split. Like, they separated. That was 4 days before their 16-year anniversary, by the way. So we get done with the police. I finally get some clothes on, and he drives me over to, so like my neighbor's house was right there, but she was over at her mom's house. And so, we went over to my neighbor's mom's house and he took me over there. But while we're on the way over there, he's on the phone with my birth mom. And he's like, "Listen, at this point, like, we need to go our separate ways. We'll split. Like, he was like, you can stay in the master bedroom and take care of my half brother." Obviously that's not my dad's son. Treated him like that. Different story. And then my dad was like, "And I'll stay in Nia's room until, they graduate from high school," which was another 2 years. Like, my dad in his mind was trying to be reasonable, and we come up from people who just didn't really they just wanted us to get to being adults before they split. And she, to this day, will tell everybody who will listen that my father kicked her out left her stranded and homeless, her and her son on the street, homeless, fending for themselves. She will tell anybody who will listen that story and swears up and down. And I have to tell her all the time, lady, I was in the car with my father while he was on the phone with you. I heard it all. Like, there's no, like, you're making this, you're lying. So after that, I don't really know what happened. They split or whatever. And it was like a week that went by. And I really don't remember a lot. Like, to be quite honest, I don't remember a lot after that. All I do know is that he gave her the option to stay. She chose to go. Her and my half brother, they moved out. They got their own spot. Whatever. One day we're sitting in the garage and we're talking and he's just asking me how I'm feeling. Oh, by the way, I went and played in that basketball game that night at 10 p.m. that night. And I was getting buckets. Like, I was getting buckets. And I don't know how I did it. I think I was thriving off of being angry, but I got buckets. Okay? Athlete all day. Ain't nobody lazy. Anyway, so we're sitting in the garage and she comes by and my dad was like, well, do you want to go talk to her? And I was like, I guess. So he was like, well, stay in earshot. So I walked down the driveway and we like went just a little bit around the corner, like from the driveway. We're sitting there talking and she was just like, I'm sorry for everything that happened, but you need to take accountability for what you did too. You punched me in my face. No, I didn't. I never punched you in your face. But even if I did punch you in your face, I had every right to do so because you attacked me. I'm telling her that I didn't punch her in the face. She's swearing her whole entire existence on the fact that I punched her in the face. In fact, she starts yelling, full on yelling. You hit me in the face. Yes, you did, Nia. You busted my lip. I said, you busted your own lip when I pushed you off of me. You hit yourself in the mouth. Like, I didn't punch you in the face. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Just full on playing the victim. And so I let her. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm good. And as I'm walking away, she says to me, okay, play it that way then, you dumbass bitch. That's why you're not even worth the child support. That's why I'm not even going to pay your father child support for you because you ain't worth it. You ain't shit. And that's why I do everything that I do now. That's why I talk about everything that I do now. That's why I've busted my ass for the last, 13 years to be where I am right now. Because of words like that she has said to me. I am who I am, baby. I wasn't worth it. But look at me now. I hope she sees this. I hope she watches me. I hope she stalks me. I hope she sees it. I really do. But anyway, y'all. So that's what happened. That was the story. And it was all because she was mad that I didn't want to go work out. I didn't want to lift weights, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, all of that happened because I didn't want to work out. Can we somehow make that make sense? That doesn't make sense. But anyway, you can't rationalize with people like that. You can't try to make sense of people like that. Like, you just can't do it. So, yeah, that's what happened. And, here I am 13 years later and I don't talk to her. I haven't seen her. I haven't spoken to her in about 7 years. She only has my email address, but I sent her emails to junk because I told her to leave me alone and she wouldn't. And so maybe she emails me. I don't know. I never check my spam folder. But yeah, but here I am thriving. So that was my story time. I don't know how I'm able to sit here and talk about it with a smile on my face. That's kind of weird, but I survived that. And it's crazy thinking about that though. Like, I really survived that. And I've survived so much worse than that too. But that really set me up to be in abusive relationships because all I'd ever been in my whole entire life was abusive relationships. Like, that's all I've ever been in my whole entire life. Until the last 2 years of my life, I've been in abusive relationships. Well, let's see, last 3 years of my life, I've been in abusive relationships. A lot of this stuff stems from the narcissistic, toxic, abusive environment that you were raised in, which is why I really dug deep and did the work that I had to do for myself so that I could get to this place where I'm smiling and I'm happy and I'm not crying and breaking down every time I tell this story. Like, I get emotional because I think about my dad and what my dad had to do and what my dad went through. I don't really, you know what I mean? And I still have a lot of processing with a lot of things, but like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, you guys, I love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in to my story time. I have more story times coming, and I have some more content coming for you guys too. But I love you, Battered Hearts. Check out my merch. You know, I got a cute little crop top on right now, a Battered Heart crop top. So I'll link my merch below. So go ahead and check out some merch if you want to support your girl. But I love you guys. Drink some water, get some sleep, and don't let nobody's dusty ass child treat you any kind of way, okay? All right.